Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So excited to see all of your smiling faces tonight. Dr. Stacy here. I am so excited that you decided to join us. We've got a fantastic doctor I'm going to be interviewing this evening, and you are going to want to get your notebooks out and your pens or pencils. She has got a lot of great information to share with you about what she's doing. But before I share a little bit more about her, I do want to let you know that, of course, the information that we are sharing this evening is about LifeWaves technology. And this technology is not intended to prevent, treat, cure, and of course, we're not going to be diagnosing anything that's going on with you. If you have any questions in regards to your medical health, please check with your healthcare practitioner or the person in charge of your health. Please also check with your doctor if you're on any medications or pregnant or nursing. All of our disclaimers, right? You guys know those. We are here just to share the information about LifeWave, what it is, how it is going to be able to impact you in your health in a positive way. But before we do, I want to share a little bit of information with you about Dr. Debbie. So, Dr. Debbie's heartfelt desire is to change people's lives through natural health, one person at a time. By uncovering hidden truths in natural healing, Dr. Debbie is on a mission to recreate traditional healthcare. She has been in the natural health industry for over 40 years and is well educated in most areas of healing. Dr. Debbie has studied with the best in the industry, including Stephen Horn, Wendell Whitman, Mickey Jones, Tony Robbins, Bernard Jensen, Joan Vandergriff, Karen Utter, and many more. After overcoming her own health challenges, she decided to share her message with all who would listen and desire to become the CEO of their own health. Dr. Debbie is a graduate of the Trinity School of Natural Health, where she obtained her Doctor of Naturopathy, however you want to say that, people say it differently, degree, as well as becoming a certified natural health professional. In addition, she is a licensed massage therapist and specializes in coaching, as well as helping others in starting their own health business. Other certifications include weight loss coaching, as well as health and relationship coaching sessions, iridology, herbology, colon therapy, and blood chemistry. She has also received her certification in nutritional counseling from Trinity School of Natural Health. Dr. Debbie is an ordained minister, as well as an accomplished author and teacher. So, Dr. Debbie, thank you for being on here this evening to share your wide range of knowledge and expertise with us. And I would love for you just to talk to us a little bit about your background, right? Your passions, the things that you're into, and what you do in your practice. Of course, we want to hear all about that. And then take us up to that point where you found out about LifeWaves technology, who introduced it to you, why did you decide that this was something for you to take a look at? And then, of course, incorporate that into your practice. We want to know your background and how you got started.
Okay, perfect. I'm unmuted. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm so thankful to be here. So excited. I have so much to share with everybody. So, y'all, I go way back in time to in my 20s. Believe it or not, I was doing dance competitions, teaching dance, DJing, just living the life, mostly at Burger King, eating at places like that. Well, my nickname was the Burger King Queen. And so, like, shortly after all of this fun lifestyle, after the birth of my third child, they took her cesarean. That was my first surgery to ever have. And all kinds of health problems composed and came from that. So when you're told you only have a few months to live, that kind of gets your attention. You start putting things in place. I started doing things different. And way back then, they didn't even have things as simple as almond milk in a carton. You had to make your own almond milk. Hello, not a fun thing to do. Fast forward 8.5 months later, when I was disease free, the woman who helped me with this told me you might want to go to school to be a doctor. So I jokingly tell everybody I went from being a DJ and a dancer to a doctor. Who would have dreamt? God does have a sense of humor, and he is using me big time to open my mouth and share my experience with all of those who really want to learn what needs to be done in order to overcome and reverse disease, because I truly believe it can be done with all people. You know, there are some that say there's no such thing as incurable diseases, just incurable people. And what they mean by that is there are some people you can lead the horse to water and they're not going to drink. You can show them all the scientific proof and they're not willing to do it. They were hoping you could just give them one magic pill. And unfortunately, that does not happen. So fast forward to about 30, 40 years later, started having more issues with mitral valve prolapse. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It's not a fun thing. And AFib, that's not fun either. Anxiety kicked in with that. And my best friend Sharon happened to be in the office that day. And she said, you know, I know you know all about stem cells, and there's this little patch you can put on. It kind of activates. And she didn't know how to explain it. And she told me, I don't know how to explain it, but I know you'll understand it. Just try it. And I said, well, where is it? She said, I'll be right back. She went to her house. She brought it back. I put them on. And I am one of those one patch wonders because I had 2 or 3. I don't even know what they were, but I put them on. And within 4 to 5 days was the cardiologist appointment. And they couldn't find the very thing that I've been treated for since I was in my 20s. That was huge. So I called her back and I said, I don't know much about this company. However, I love the part that you said that there are no side effects. So I said, I want one of everything that they've got. And she said, girl, they sell a lot. I said, I don't care. I want everything they have. And the rest is basically history, because in my practice, everything that I do, I would guarantee my work. I would just say, you know, if you're not feeling better, this is what I'm willing to do for you, and it won't cost you any money. Now that these patches have come into my life, are y'all ready? I got 5 simple steps. Patching is one of them. It's actually the top one. They can have a written money back guarantee because there are no negative side effects, and these patches work, or I wouldn't have them in my office.
Wow.
Plain and simple.
Wow. So Dr. Debbie, they're asking already, what patches did you use those first couple days? What did you use? I know you said you ordered them all, you wanted them all, but what did you use?
I did. The X39 and the 49, because Sharon said that will slow the pulse down with your heart and it will help you to calm down. And then she said the Eons, the happy patch, that's going to help you with the anxiety. And she said, and this Alavita is supposed to make you look even prettier than you already are. And I said, I'll take it. And she was telling me, you wear this one at night, these during the day. And that's what I did. And now, basically, that is almost the same program that I put people on, depending what their health challenges are. But Alavita is a must for me. When I learned about the telomeres and how Alavita could help to strengthen the telomeres, to lengthen them, to make those little shoestring layers tight again, that can extend your life. Like I'm talking, boom, 20 years, just use it. And then this week, all those pictures you sent out of the before and after, I got to tell you, I've never done the cream, never used any of it. Oh, I ordered everything they had. I've got it all coming because I just used the pouch. Because I thought, you know, I don't even want to tell you what I use to remove my makeup and stuff, but I do use a good makeup. One that's chemical free.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So let's talk just a little bit about that, okay? So we'll dive into X39, 49, Eon. We'll dive in those in just a second. So the Alavita, tonight is the last day for the Alavita Trio or the Alavita Regenerating Trio on promo, right, for our holiday special. But first of all, how long have you been patching?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, so 2 years patching. You've used all the patches, right?
All of them. Your
Alavita is a must 100%. We're going to talk about that because they need to know why. And you've never used the creams yet?
Nope. Lord, I'm fixing to. Y'all better be ready.
Oh my gosh.
after.
Wow, wow, wow. I mean, obviously the patches work without the creams, obviously. So let's talk. You said Alavita nighttime. So Alavita is a nighttime patch. Why do we recommend that at night?
Well, from what I learned, and the reason I started using it at night was because it calms the nervous systems down, so therefore it can make you sleepier during the daytime. And I'm one of those, I know y'all can tell, I love the energy patches. I take mine off literally at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon so I can start calming down before I put that aloe vera on. And at nighttime is the only time you heal. When you're sleeping, period, dot, end of story. So if you're not sleeping, that's a whole nother story. And they have a patch for that too. They have a patch for everything, just saying. And they work. But that is why I use aloe vera at night, because I want those telomeres lengthening and strengthening and getting stronger. And it does a lot for the nervous systems, autonomic, peripheral, all of them.
Yeah, the aloe vera is amazing. I've been using that myself, and I started using the creams on day one because I heard David talk about them. So I was like, okay, I've got to use them. I'm a skincare junkie. I always have been. But so the aloe vera is a nighttime, right? Helps the nervous system. We know it reduces oxidative stress, inflammatory stress. I always talk about an apple tree. If you go outside and you see an apple tree, you're going to pick an apple and you're going to eat it. If you walked outside, you saw an apple tree, the apple just fell to the ground in front of you, you'd pick it up and you eat it. If you walked outside, you saw an apple tree, and the apple had been laying on the ground for 7 days, you're not going to eat it. That's oxidative stress. That's what's happening. That's what's happening on the inside from eating that Burger King you used to eat when you were in your 20s.
Hello.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Oxidative stress comes from our toxic food, food-like things, toxic environment, water, our stress, our own stress creates oxidative stress inside of the body. And so aloe vera directly impacts that, reduces that, eliminates that oxidative stress, which is happening at the cellular level, right? Elevating your melatonin a little, improving cognition. But, like you said, of course, it activates a peptide in your pineal gland. And that peptide is responsible for increasing the telomerase that is coming out of that peptide, that pineal gland, the epithalamin peptide. And so that's where we really get to see those benefits with our telomeres on our chromosomes and whatnot. We know carnosine protects the telomeres, and we know aloe vera does what it does to help them stay super healthy, which impacts your longevity, of course. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And the X49 in with the 39 is just like a miracle in itself for bone health, removing all the electromagnetic frequencies, increasing testosterone naturally. That list goes on and on and on. But I mean, we know X39 is the patch. You got to start with that. And if that is all anybody can afford, then we get really, really strict with their food program, as well as their waters. When my youngest daughter came over a couple of weeks ago, and she came in and she said, "Mom, can I have some water, please?" And I just out of habit, I turned to her and I said, "Well, do you want it hydrogenated, oxygenated, or ozonated? Would you like reverse osmosis, alkalized, or distilled?" She said, "Geez, I just want some water." And I went, "I wasn't even thinking, but you're my daughter. I want you to be healthy. What do you want? Take your pick." And she said, "How about just the plain Jane distilled?" Okay.
Yeah.
But the water matters. It really matters. On some of my equipment, there is a hydration scan. And all these people that want to tell me, "I'm drinking plenty of water," I'm like, okay, we're going to check your hydration because you're going to be surprised. And I'm going to say 8 out of 10 people are not fully hydrated. And then it will give you 101 reasons why you're not. And the bottom line is they're literally not getting enough of the liquid in.
Yeah.
They're thinking their soda should count, as water. I've heard that over and over and over. Or tea, which is high in oxalic acid. That's a whole nother story in and of itself. So I'm like you on that water. Because the number one thing I hear is, "I don't like water." I'm like, well, dress it up, make it pretty, do whatever you have to do, because you're going to be my patient. You got to be drinking water, period.
Yep, the water is so key, with anything in life, right? But
Right.
like you said, making sure that our cells are hydrated. And I can't wait for David's water that's coming out at the beginning of next year. That's going to be so exciting.
I can't wait for that announcement. I can't wait for everything that's going to be announced
Oh my
January
gosh.
25th. And by the way, everybody's welcome to my place. I dare y'all. I challenge y'all. Hop on a plane, come on down because my hubby will be out there grilling. We're having brisket, chicken. If y'all have never had Texas barbecue, get a plane ticket, come on down. I promise I'll make you feel right at home.
You're having a watch party for Vision on January 25th.
You got
Everyone's
it.
invited, all 500 of us that are here right
I dare y'all to come.
now. I love it. I love it. I'll take some of that chicken. You got it. I'll just hop down from Indiana. I'll be up in Indiana at a watch party. I'll just jump down, grab some chicken, and go back.
There you go.
Sounds
That's what
good.
I'm talking about.
All right, so let's dive a little bit more into that X39 and 49. Okay.
Okay.
So, for our guests that are on here tonight, you said X39 is our flagship patch. That is the 100% starting point for anyone, for anything under the sun. Yes, David Schmidt is the inventor of this technology. He started this company 20 years ago last month. And of course, he has invented a dozen patches over the last 20 years. You mentioned Alavita, an energy enhancer, and X49. So he has a dozen different patches he's invented. But X39 has been on the market 5 years now. And the last 5 years, because of the release of X39, of course, we've been global, 82 countries, but we have really exponentially 3,000% growth in the last 5 years because of the power of X39. So let's explain to everybody just, how do you explain to your patients? They come into the office, they have no idea about light therapy, or maybe they know a teeny bit or a little bit or, whatever. How do you explain how this patch works to someone that's brand new in your office?
That's a great question because I do come around the corner and I've got patches up here. My energy's on the ankles. I'm just covered. I just love the way I feel when I'm on them. And so I have a book here called Let There Be Light. And so when they ask me the question, I tell them I am igniting a light inside of me. I want to do the same thing for you. The minute you put this patch on, I'm trying to watch what I'm saying. Keep it all legal here. You
Yep.
know, 3 to 4,000 of the stem cells become activated. What? I mean, that in and of itself is unreal, so that they don't get caught up in that big long term of photobiomodulation and light therapy. I explained to them too that it is no different than when you wake up in the morning and you get up and you go through the house, you're flipping on the light switches so you can see what you are doing so that your body can start to function by juicing your celery, making your coffee, whatever it is that you're doing. And so it's the same way by wearing the LifeWave patches. You're placing them on, you're flipping on the light switch so your body can start working the way you want it to work.
I love that. I love that. That's an easy way to understand it. You just flip it on the light switch, flip it on your body switch, ability to be able to help your body get into balance.
Correct.
So X39, we know this patch elevates a very specific peptide, which is GHKCU copper peptide. And we don't really have a lot of time to go too much into that. If you guys go to PubMed, you can type in GHKCU copper peptide. You'll see 13 pages. 13 pages of the benefits of GHK being elevated. You can elevate it by injecting it. We choose not to. David has figured out how to elevate GHK with light. All right, so this patch, when you put this on, a wavelength of light that enters your body is going to elevate that peptide. And as you've mentioned, Dr. Debbie, when you talk about this, we have a patent that states in the blood, we elevate GHK and we activate stem cells. And we can put a website, a link in the chat for you, and you can go there and you can see our patents, you can see our studies. We have double-blind, placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed studies that you can see that this patch is doing what we say it's doing. We're in year 4 of a 20-year patent on the X39. So when you wear that X39, you put that on in the morning. How long do we leave that on? What does that look like for your patients during the day?
I tell them 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Make sure you take it off before you go to sleep, because all of my clients, again, I educate them so they know. Because remember, the only time you heal is while you are sleeping. So that's when the work takes place.
Perfect.
And I just tell them you're going to be too energized if not. So get the patch off. And not only that, I teach them. I have a cute little system here. Can everybody see this little box?
Yeah.
See how it has the little tabs on it? I keep all of mine in here. So I keep it super simple. And it's in the kitchen. Yes, my kitchen is decorated with LifeWave things, color therapy, shakes, blenders, all the works. But they can swap them out at the same time. So I'm not hearing from them that they forgot. I never have to tell them, go put them by your toothpaste or your makeup or this and that. Put it right by your coffee pot. Put them in this little box. So when you're taking off the X39, then you can put on whatever you're going to wear at nighttime. I keep it simple. If you don't keep it simple, they're not going to do it, because like I tell them, you know what, when they go, what if it doesn't work? Okay, the only way it's not going to work is if you leave it in the sleeve. Take it out, peel the little stickies off, and put it on your body or your clothing. These things work no matter what. And I hope y'all can feel my excitement, because after 40 years of doing this, to be able to really and truly offer now a written money back guarantee is huge. Just doing 5 steps. Just 5.
Yep. I love
Super simple. Yes.
I love that. So our X39 is our flagship patch. Everyone's using that. They're wearing that every day. If they have something else they need to address, right? You mentioned your X49. You mentioned, the Eon. Why would someone want to use one of those 2 patches?
Oh my goodness. The Eon, if you are in pain, your body's inflamed. Bottom line. And that's the new buzzword now. Well, people like you and I have known about that for years and years and years. And so Eon is known for helping the body to bring down the inflammation, which means the pain's going to go away. Therefore, I think that's why they nicknamed it the Happy Patch, because there's nobody happy on the face of this earth when they've got a ton of pain in their body. But you remove the pain, you get rid of the inflammation. Now they have a smile on their face for no reason. They're going around smiling. People are asking them, what are you on? These people call me and say, whatever you put brother or sister or this person or that person on, I want it, because now they're happy all the time. And they'll ask me, does it balance their hormones? I'm like, oh, well, there's another one that we can use for that.
Yeah, I love that. The Happy Patch.
The Happy Patch.
Someone is asking, where do you wear the X39 for best results?
Well, again, all you have to do is take it out of the sleeve. I don't care where you put it, but I make the suggestion to my clients, if they're female especially, to place it below the belly button. If it's a man, since they've got the hair on the belly, I just tell them, lift the hair, put it back here on the back of the bony part of your neck.
Okay.
That's where I have them to put it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, men don't typically like to put it below their belly button. That would not.
No, they don't.
Nope. I know my son likes to put his on his hip where there's nothing.
Yes.
He patches the side of his hip, and in all of his patches, he'll just stick them on his hips because there's no hair there, because he has it back here too, because his hair is a little bit longer, so the patch gets kind of caught in it, So yeah, anywhere on the body works. It doesn't work in the package, right? You got to take it out and put it on. So people, honestly, people get really hung up on location. And I want to talk about that for a minute. So when we're elevating GHK, when we're activating these master cells in our body that are responsible for repair and regeneration, we know that starts on day 1, and we know there's a compound effect. The longer we patch, the more benefits we're going to have, right? The more of those cells that are dormant are going to be woke up, and they're going to be able to go work wherever they want, right? Your body is smart. It knows how to heal itself. But people will say, well, if it's my wrist that hurts, I'm going to patch my wrist, and I want this patch to get rid of my wrist pain. Or if it's my neck that hurts, I'm going to patch right here, and I expect this patch to get rid of my neck pain. Or I'm going to patch on my knee, and I want those cells to go right to my knee. And I know you're trying not to laugh because I do the same thing. Why doesn't that work? Why doesn't it work that way with our X39?
It's just not going to happen that way. But I don't care if it's your big toe, you can put that patch back here on the back of your neck and it's going to go where it needs to go in order to heal the body, because it's going to heal it in the reverse order that things happened. And that's the way I explain it to them.
I love that. So meaning something that's more chronic is probably going to take longer to get.
Correct. Correct. Yes. And that inflammation has to come down. So if I'm telling them to use X39 along with the Eon, Alavita at night, and we just start there, and then they leave my place and they go eat where I said I used to eat all the time, and they don't understand why they're not feeling results 30 days later, we go in and we tweak that whole program up, and we add alkalized water to get rid of some of that acid for them, and then they tend to be more persistent and consistent with it.
Yeah, and cut out that Burger King, right? We want to cut out all the toxic foods.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to make those changes ourselves.
Yeah, they'll say, I don't eat sugar. I'm like, you just told me you had a hamburger. All that bread and the French fries turns to sugar. It's hard to comprehend. Yeah. I know I didn't know when I was in my 20s. I just thought I was having a balanced meal, having the hamburger, cheeseburger.
Of course, that sounds very balanced, right? Well, and let's be honest. I mean, even back then, those types of burgers were different than the burgers that people are eating today. But still not great for you, obviously. Right. But worse today, anything in through a drive-thru is going to be worse today than it was when we were kids, right? Correct. 54 ingredients for what, a piece of chicken? I mean, I don't understand how that even really happens.
And all the chemicals.
I know, just absolutely insane.
That's a whole different class right there.
A whole different class. So everyone's wanting to know, what are the 5 steps? What are your 5 steps you're saying? They want to hear those.
Everybody needs a food enzyme to help you digest your food, because as most of you would know, once you cook the food, you've destroyed the enzymes, even if it came fresh out of your garden, especially if you're cooking it in the microwave. And again, that's a whole different story, whole different class. And so you need your food enzyme. And number 2, you need a probiotic, so you can keep the good bacteria in the gut for good gut health, because death begins in the colon. Don't care if it's the big toe to something going on in the head, it all begins in the colon. Number 3, we make people a customized homeopathic remedy, which is frequency, which is like light therapy, and it works with their system because we measure it off of their DNA. I have all the equipment here that makes their custom homeopathic. It's flavorless. It's really pretty good. Something we call our famous Yeti beverage, and it's only because you can mix the drink up in the morning. I don't care if it's a shake, you're adding all kinds of antioxidants to the beverage, so you're getting every vitamin, mineral, and amino acid that is needed. And then the patching comes, and that's the icing on the cake. And with all those things working together, especially if the client is changing their eating habits, just starting with clean water will help. The results are almost instantaneous within the first 30 to 45 days.
Wow. And let's talk just for 1 second, because I'm sure they probably want to know. People love to hear all the tools, right? So what types of scans or tests do? You said it's effortless. What are you doing in your practice with your patients?
A lot of biofeedback. So it's totally 100% non-invasive. And the cool thing is we hook them into the equipment, kind of very similar to getting an EKG with these little leads and stuff all over the body. Turn the equipment on, it scans the body, telling us every body organ, gland, and system that is out of balance. And at the click of a button, it says, these are the services that are needed. These are the supplementation. Are they hydrated? Are they not? What's going on in the colon? All of that shows up in a report. And instead of them having to go out and buy 101 different products, which is where the patches come in, they don't have to do that. And let me tell you, even that drink that I'm calling the famous Yeti drink, once David makes that announcement on the morning supplement and the evening, I've told all my people, y'all don't even have to mix that up anymore, because he's going to have all bases covered. And then the water unit,
Mm-hmm.
that is a win-win situation. And I'm going to add one more thing to that because everybody should have a Q-tip somewhere in their home, right? A bottle of essential oil, put some oil on this Q-tip, and you take it and you go all around the ear, inside and out, on the earlobe, behind the ear, with an oil such as lavender. Don't do peppermint. You're going to set yourself on fire. Do you hear me? And that is called the auricular test point area. And just by doing that one simple step that takes less than like 2 minutes, you have covered your whole body in frequency. So if you do this with lavender oil tonight before you go to bed, along with the aloe vera and the silent night, you're going to sleep good. I'm just saying. Somebody's going to be checking on you in the morning because they're going to be like, they didn't even snore last night. It's a miracle. And it's all these cute little tips that we can teach people that when they really put them into practice, it works. Like I said, if you're persistent, you're going to get the results. And then if you're consistent, you get to keep the results. And once we get people healed here, I tell them, okay, now you need some courses because you need to learn how to maintain your miracle. You don't get to go back to the way you were before, eating all the things and doing all the things. You got to do something different. Change your frequency, we change your life.
Wow. I've never heard that about a Q. I've used essential oils for 20 years. Take a Q-tip and go around the ear. Thank you, Dr. Libby.
That's what I said. It's just those little things.
I mean, I put them on my body, of course, every day. Of course. I've got rose right here on my chest. I've got, white angelica here,
Oh, we wear the same ones.
Little highest potential going on. Yeah.
I used to teach all over with those. You can literally just take the lid off and inhale it. Within 20 seconds, it hits all of your capillaries and you get the results for 20 minutes. And again, having stem cell patches on just increases the intensity of everything. I'm telling you, y'all gonna feel like Superman and Superwoman when y'all just put some of these things into practice because it's nothing hard. Is it, Dr. Stacy?
No.
It's really not hard. It's just changing some of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, and I know sometimes people get overwhelmed too, right? You have 40 years, I have 20-ish years, right, of experience. So we have a lot of tips. We have a lot of tools. Right. We have a lot of tools in our toolbox. And I think this is important for people, especially if you're just starting out in this world, or you're just figuring, I need to go down a different route, right? The medical system, allopathic's not been working, whatever, or maybe I want to incorporate the two. It can be a little overwhelming. It can be daunting. And I love how you said we've got 5 things. In my practice, your practice, not mine, but in yours, we're just going to do these 5 things. We're going to start here, right? And we're going to reevaluate. We're going to reassess, and we're going to say, where are we in 30 to 45 days? What's working? What am I doing, or what am I not doing that I need to be doing? And so everybody needs to have that self-check with themselves. I talked to a lady today and she said, all right, I'm going to do this. We talked about some things, right? Some suggestions, recommendations. She's dealing with insulin resistance. And, between the patches and some other suggestions I had. And she said, okay, I'm going to give it 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, we're going to reassess and I'm going to see where I'm at. And I said, yes, exactly. You're going to do all of these things every day for 4 weeks, right? And it's not a ton, but again, you're just talking about a few little tweaks. And okay, let's reassess. And you've got to do that yourself. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror and go, what am I doing every day? Am I making healthy food choices? Can I make better choices on my water consumption? Do I prioritize my sleep? Is this something that's important to me? Like that little bedtime, that right there, right? Little lavender essential oil on the ear. Use your aloe vera, use your silent nights, even Aeon at night to help calm the nervous system. Like you said, you can't heal if you aren't sleeping. Like you have to put sleep up there at the top of that priority list to make it has to happen. Right? It has to happen. You've got to get the sleep every night, deep quality REM sleep. And the body won't heal without it. And you don't feel great, right? You're in pain. Your mental faculties aren't all there. And when you sleep, man, things start firing. The brain starts healing quickly. All right. Your body starts healing quickly when you can get that sleep. So prioritize that for sure. So I agree with
Yes,
you
because even when I first started out in this practice, we had a beauty salon in our first home, and I had hairdressers. I wasn't a hairdresser. We shut all that down because what I learned about the chemicals, and opened my little herb shop with one little bottle of herbs up there. And I knew at that time, okay, I can't heal these people. I can't get them well until I heal their cells, because this is where it all started. But back then, to do stem cell therapy, even nowadays, super expensive. And you have something totally affordable and you get to pick and choose what you want. It's a win-win situation. You cannot lose. You can't go wrong. Your health is going to the next level. I tell everybody, we're bypassing good, we're going for great. Period. Dot. End of story. Yeah. We're not going to have anybody coming into the office that tells me they woke up that morning only because they didn't die the night before. They're going to learn to have purpose, to live with joy, to get out and serve other people, do the work on yourself, and watch everybody else benefit.
Yeah, I love that. Get out and be of service. Get around people,
Yes.
right? You cannot be depressed and grateful at the same time. Like you've got to get out and be in service, be in gratitude, live in that state of gratitude for sure. So, Dr. Debbie, let's talk a little bit more about, you had shared with me that you have introduced this and shared this to other practitioners or doctors. And of course, as guests on here tonight, are brand partners that are not in that position. How did that look like? I mean, obviously she told us how Sharon came to you and she's like, "Oh, you're dealing with this? I got a patch for that, right? I'll be right back." So how have you shared this with other doctors or practitioners outside of your practice?
Well, number one of them was a dentist, and the other one, the cardiologist, and then the vet. Believe it or not, I'll tell you that story in a second. But anyways, and they wanted to know what this is. So when I told the dentist about it, she started using them in her practice. And Leah just ordered a bunch of things for her. Thank God for Leah. She helps me so much with all these people. But she has seen a definite improvement in the time for different surgeries, pulling a tooth, doing all the things that now I know better and would never do the different dental services that some people offer. But she said it's like night and day difference with the healing time. And then the cardiologist nurse that always helps me in the room says, I don't care how much these cost. I can't believe the difference. And everybody in here needs to be on it. Can you go out there? I said, I'm not going out there and doing that. You get out there and go tell them about it. But she uses them as well. And then the vet, we have a rescue dog that's a little over 20 years, human years. And we were told about 3.5 years ago, he wasn't going to be around that long. And I had heard you teach that you can take the patches off and put them on your dog. So I started doing that. Oh my gosh. Every time we bring him in for a checkup, he does an x-ray, which is like twice a year. And he says, I can't believe all those tumors and the knots and everything are gone. And he had blood sugar issues. He came in when we rescued him. He had heartworms, the whole 9 yards. Nothing's bothering his health. And he said, every time I take him back for the x-ray, they have to take his bandana off. And on the underside are all the patches, right? He says, and those sticky band-aids, I had to take them off so I can do them. Now, what is that? So guess who uses them? I'm just saying. He said, if it works on dogs like this, he said, if this dog makes it to 30, he said, you're going to be on every major TV show. And I said, oh, this dog will be. He's going to make history because it will work on the pets. And I was telling you earlier that I have a little 6-week-old puppy Chihuahua. She don't need no patches, okay? She don't need no energy. She doesn't need anything stimulated because she's got plenty of good stem cells. But the other one needed help. So y'all need to know if you've got pets with any kind of issues, I don't know what the patches do, the ones that are designed for the pets, because I've never had to use them, because the ones that I take off of me and put on Roscoe work.
And how old's Roscoe again?
A little over 20 years.
The dog?
Years. Yes, the dog. The dog. The rescue dog. I know.
I mean, I had a poodle that lived to 21. I haven't heard one that long in a long time. That was obviously from childhood. What kind of dog is he?
He is part terrier and part Jack Russell.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just showed up at our house many, many years ago. My grandchildren were little then, and they
Hmm.
just fell in love with him. And of course, I did too a few days later, so we kept him. So we had
Yeah.
5 dogs. That's just what you do when you have grandkids.
Everybody needs their dog, right?
Amen. It's great therapy.
I love that. I love that. So you kind of touched on something a little bit with the dog. You said blood sugar issues. And I know we talked beforehand about in your practice, you love people that come in with blood sugar and blood pressure. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why do you love those patients?
Oh, because it is so, I don't want to say like so easy in that, these people that are really suffering, and having issues with it, and they've tried everything that they know to try. There's still other things to try, because I'm telling you, with that carnosine patch added to the X39 and still wearing your Alavita at night
Mm-hmm.
and the Eon, you got to have your Eon, that, and watching the carbohydrate count, which is your sugar, drinking plenty of alkalized water, hydrogenated water. I'm telling you, I know at least 3 to 6 people on here. They better comment off their medications. I didn't take them off of it. Their doctors did. I'm talking within 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, that was huge. It's so much easier to work with those cases rather than the ones that come in and they've been diagnosed with X, Y, or Z disease and given X amount of time to live. Then you don't get to play around. It's serious work, and there's work to be done. And blood pressure is the same way. And in both cases, we're working with the kidneys and the liver, because the kidneys filter the blood. So if there's a blood pressure or a blood sugar issue, you got to go to the source. Something going on with the filter. So if somebody's not getting results quick
Mm-hmm.
enough on their blood sugar readings in that first week, I have them put those patches over the kidneys on the backside. Yeah,
Okay.
it makes a
Okay.
difference.
Wow. Okay. So the blood sugar, if it's not coming down, because I know we have some people on here right now that, they're testing their blood sugar and they're eating what they think should be, good foods and not the sugary foods, and they're still not getting their blood sugar to come down.
Right. Well, I would put, if it were me, and this is what I would suggest, the X39 below the belly button. And
Mm-hmm.
I would take a carnosine and the Eon and put one on each of the backside. Like if you put your hands on your hips like you're gonna get on to somebody or do something, drop the thumbs down to where your hands swing around to the backside. That's where I want them to put the patch. Okay.
Okay.
And it's just after they tell me it's not working, the numbers haven't budged, and then of course we go in and zone way down on the carbohydrates. Like I don't even allow fruit for the first 7 days because of the natural sugar coming in. So it's good clean proteins and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature, just so they can see, and so I can see if this is going to be able to be fixed just through dietary habits, because you have the power on the end of your fork, knife, and spoon to literally change your very biology.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just by food choices. I certainly didn't know that. Well, I learned it the hard way, just saying. So I preach it big now. I wish I would have known in my 20s what I know now, but then again, I wouldn't be where I'm at now and have all the blessings. But man, I had to work hard to overcome all that.
Yeah. And of course we know, food's an addiction.
It is.
Sugar is an addiction. And of course, there's so many emotional components tied to our food for a lot of people. They eat when they're sad, they eat when they're happy, they eat when they're bored, they eat when they're around other people, they eat when they're by themselves. I mean, it's just like, are you really eating for the actual nutrition to fuel your body? Or are you using food as a crutch for whatever else may be going on
Correct.
emotionally, whichever end of the spectrum? So, what do you suggest on mental? Like, what do you think helps with the mental aspect?
Again, I go back to the Eon.
Okay.
I always go back to the Eon, but X39, you gotta have that. You just gotta, those two go together. They
Hmm.
just do. I
Yeah.
want to say like bread and butter, but I don't want y'all eating bread unless it's sugar free.
Or sourdough. How about sourdough?
Yes,
Yes, we only buy sourdough bread in our house. Real,
there
fresh,
you go. There you go.
local. Yeah,
Yes,
sourdough bread is amazing. Really helps that gut.
yes.
So let's talk a little bit about this. When we look in terms of the brain, okay, we look at X39, we can see that around 6 weeks, we can start to see those changes, like when you look at the EEGs in the brain scan, right? We've all seen the colors. You got a red, hot, fiery, anxious, nervous brain, and then you've got a brain that starts to cool down. And in around 6 weeks, we're like, okay, now we're coming into the realm here of where the brain should be. Doesn't mean things are fixed and perfect, but we've got a brain that starts to calm down. And we look at our Eon, you mentioned Eon reduces inflammation like this, right? Like boom, immediately it can help that pain immediately. It's our happy patch, calm the nervous system immediately. So I love that you said you partner the Eon with it because it does give you more of a faster response even sometimes than X39, especially when we look at the brain component of it and being able to help with the right brain, left brain hemisphere, that communication, that coherence, helping our brain to work together. So that again, you can just use your X39. We don't know where your body's going to prioritize first, and you don't either. You can't direct it. And so we use these supportive patches to support the different systems or organs or the things we're trying to help. Just like you said with the blood sugar, or the blood pressure, we're going to add in that carnosine because we know what carnosine does for the blood, right? For the kidneys. See huge organ function benefit. Eon has great organ function benefit. But someone had asked in the chat, what's the difference in X39 and 49? That you mentioned those a few times, but what's the difference in the two of them?
Actually, what they each produce a different peptide.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've learned and studied, they do two different things because X39 is going to help to stimulate the stem cells, and then 49 is going to help with all the things that I mentioned earlier, from the bone health to the EMFs to raising testosterone to the heart rate to lowering blood pressure, slowing down the heart rate. And no, when I say that, I don't mean it's going to take a healthy heart rate and drop it. It's for those who have the issues like I did.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped and toned it down.
Yeah. Yeah, X49 is we really talk about it for like building lean muscle mass and reducing body fat and stopping bone loss, increasing bone density. But when you really look at like your vascular system, right? Increasing circulation, increasing oxygenation, really being able to help the body through the top to the bottom. When you can get blood flow out to the extremities, right? That's going to make a huge difference in every aspect of your body. When you think of people that have issues with the pain on the feet or pain in the hands, right? We're not going to mention what that is, but when you got the tingling, numbing, and the pain in the hands and the feet, we need to get that blood flow out there. We need to get the circulation out there. We need to increase the oxygenation in the body at the cellular level. So huge cardiovascular neurological benefits for the X49. I had somebody just say the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but they said, maybe it was Dr. Tina last week. I don't remember. Talked to so many people, but it could have been from the boot camp this week too. I don't know. But past 30, or past 30, X49, 100% for sure, or past 40, X49 for sure. X39 for everyone, 40 and under, no matter what. Of course, beyond that as well, but past 40, X49, 100% for sure. And I said, I agree with that. But I've got a son that started on X49 when he was 17 years old, and that is his favorite patch, 100% hands down. X49, carnosine, those are his duo for building that lean muscle mass, for increasing his output in the gym, for recovery time like this. So the day off for him is the 23 hours he's not in the gym, right? And then that one day is, that 1 hour is happening every single day because he's just been able to have so much more gains in the gym because his body's been able to perform. Even though he's now 20, he's still able to outperform other kids his age that are doing the same thing, if not more, and be able to recover like this. There's no downtime. So,
Agreed, because I mean, if you think about it, someone gave the example earlier of an 80-year young woman, one having to use the walker, and another one who was shown where the muscles were showing through the stomach. You know, it's all due to lifestyle choices. Well, at the age of 65, I rolled into that Medicare age. And for those of y'all who haven't been there yet, it isn't a pretty picture. You're not treated like the queen of Texas. You're just not. You know, it's almost like you don't matter. But I started getting so much energy and so pumped up. You ready for this? I hired a personal trainer. Miss Christie, this is my 3rd month. Who does that? Somebody who's on the stem cell patches.
wow.
I have this, she'll even, she calls me Muscle Barbie. She's like, I'm telling you, you're doing great. And if you would have asked me if I would even consider that in my 40s, I would have said, you've lost your mind. I'm not going to do that. No, that's not me. I hate exercise, didn't like it, but I didn't feel like I could keep up or do the things. And she's not easy on me either. If she's on here, y'all, she can be mean on Mondays.
She's on here, and I have definitely seen Christy, and she has got that body down pat. So I can't imagine what she does to you in the gym.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have our virtual meetings. Thank you, Jesus. There's sometimes when I can't do the last one, she's like, yes, you can. I'm waiting on you. Just do it.
Wow. Wow.
You do.
I love it.
And recovery time is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Big difference there in recovery time. Big difference.
Yes.
So, Dr. Debbie, we've got about 7 minutes left. Okay. So, what would you say to everyone? We've got about 500 people on here, and I know we always have thousands that are watching. What would you recommend to someone? We're brand new, just getting started, right? We've talked about your 5 things, of course, but just for purposes of them not going and doing all of that patch wise, what would be the first thing, the second thing, right, that you would recommend for them to do?
Perfect question. X39, don't even have to think about it, with the Eon and Alavita at night. Now, I love glutathione. It's real hard for me not to push that one in there too, but listen, you've got something lengthening the life, helping to lengthen the life, and you have something helping to activate and stimulate the stem cells. And then you have something bringing down pain and inflammation, and you're happy on top of it. You flip and wake up happy with a smile on your face. Those 3 things will change your life. So
X39, Eon, and Alavita. And I love that you say that, because David always talks about Alavita kind of like our sleeper patch, our silent patch, like not really one that people know a lot about, but yet it is so powerful in what it does on the inside of our body. And we love it for the skin, right? For the anti-aging, the lines, the spots, the wrinkles, the circles. I've had moles fall off of my body. I've had scars disappear. The scar tissue from the C-section I had with Trey when he was 20 years old, or 20 years ago, now that he's 20 years old, right, is gone, right? That there's no more bumpy nodules and, that scar tissue in there. All of that's gone. So huge benefits skin-wise, but just so powerful in helping the body to really get down deep in what needs to happen at that cellular level.
Correct. And, like I said, it depends on their money situation, because that glutathione really needs to fit in there. It's the #1 antioxidant. It detoxes the body. And I do have my people do it a little bit slower, depending on what kind of program we have them on or what their health issues are. But I mean, who makes something like that can increase your own glutathione levels by 300%, and it's going to hold it for 24 hours? That's unheard of in the medical world as well as in the alternative world. If there's anything else that does that, I'm not aware of it at all. Even chelated in intravenously, you name it, I've never seen it. Anything hold like that.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. We've got a few minutes left. So I agree with you. I love glutathione. I'm a detox queen. I do all the detoxes. I have since I was 18 years old. I've just always done them, right? I changed the oil in my car. It's important. Better out than in, right? So for
Yep.
me, glutathione day one, every day, absolutely. The oldest people on the planet have the highest level of glutathione, those in the blue zones. But for most people, they don't change the oil in their car at all. They've
Yep.
never done a detox. They've never done a, even a 12 or 24-hour water fast, right? They've never done anything to jumpstart that autophagy inside of the body. And so detoxing is like, woo, scary. I don't want to be on the toilet. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to have a headache. I don't want to, have any of the fatigue or anything like that. So they just avoid it. Or maybe they just don't know what to do or not do, so they don't do anything out of fear of doing something wrong. And
Right.
I get that. Again, you've got to do some research, you got to do some digging and talk to some people and that kind of stuff. So I agree with you that glutathione's maybe not for everybody the patch to start on day one with.
Right.
X39 we know does elevate glutathione about 30%. And that's going to be a nice little bump in the beginning to, kind of help that detoxification process. So, I agree with you. Glutathione is vitally important. We've got to help our body rid itself of toxins. We are bombarded and we need help. And your supplements and even your IVs are only going to help about 20 to 23% and they're gone, right? 7-minute half-life. So the patch is powerful. How long do you recommend people stay on X39 and Eon and Alavita before you introduce glutathione? Is there like a typical kind of rule of thumb or is it case by case?
It's case by case. And they're usually the ones that keep begging for, please let me start on the glutathione because they were paying for the IV push and we'd measure the next day and they would be gone. Not with the patches. So the ones that are ready, willing, and able, I try them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and see how they do that week. If they handle it, no headaches, no nothing, then we take it up to the everyday thing from
Okay, I
there.
love
So it
that.
depends on them.
All right. So it depends on them and their individual, but definitely start slow with it, of course. And
Yes.
we know that water, hydration, I love Celtic sea salt, right? I'm sure you do as well. Those electrolytes, those minerals, getting that in your body somehow, right? Anything you can do to hydrate at the cellular level is going to help you to not have as severe of detox issues as you could or would. But it's again, I put on glutathione on day one. I know a lot of other people, Leah did, Laura did, of course. A lot of us have patched right on day one with it and not had any issues or any symptoms from it. But if you feel like, oh, I've got a little bit of a headache or, oh, just a little fatigue, well, drink more water, use your electrolytes, stay hydrated, right? And take it off. Just feel free to take it off and say, maybe I just need to back off and do this, once a week, or maybe I need to wait a few weeks before I start the glutathione.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Good
agree.
advice because that's the truth.
All right, 1 minute left. Last words of wisdom, Dr. Debbie.
Just start somewhere. Do something different other than what you're doing today. Try to be a better version of yourself tomorrow than you were today, last week, last month, last whatever. Just progress, not perfection, just something different. And then when you find your miracle, get out there and share it with other people. There are so many hurting people, literally.
Literally.
Be a blessing. Be the light. Be the blessing. Yes.
Be the light, be the blessing. Well, Dr. Debbie, you have been a huge light for us tonight, a huge blessing for all of us. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here to share your expertise, your personal experience, and how you're utilizing this with others. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure.
Oh, wonderful. All right. You have a fantastic evening. We'll see you all again next Tuesday. Thank you, everyone.